He only wanted to test an urban legend from the Mexican countryside. He clapped 3 times in front of the mirror and whispered the forbidden name. The next day he began receiving messages, written in his own blood, yet without a single visible wound on his body. Something had crossed the veil between worlds, and it didn't want to go back. This is not just another story about an ancient ritual. It involves unsolved disappearances and a recording that should never have existed. What started as a joke among friends ended with my sister's commitment to a psychiatric ward, and the disappearance of my best friend. Every night at 3:33 something would knock on our bedroom door, calling out a different name each time, names I knew but no longer recognized. I had to understand. I had to confront whatever answered the call. Because maybe, there was still time to undo what we'd begun. Lucas was 22 when he decided to study abroad in Mexico. He wanted to improve his Spanish and experience a different culture. He never imagined he'd encounter something far beyond his expectations. The family hosting him lived in an 18th century house in the historic center of San Miguel de Allende, a house with history and dark secrets. It was Maria, the youngest daughter, who told him about the Tzekel summoning, a game children played in the 1980s. 3 claps in front of a mirror, a single lit candle, and a whispered name in Nahuatl, Tzekel-Na, the one who listens. They said that if you performed it correctly, you'd see something move in the reflection, something that wasn't actually in the room. Lucas soon befriended 2 other exchange students, Sophie from France and Diego, a Mexican from another state. 3 young skeptics, rational, curious, too curious for their own good. When Maria first told the legend, they laughed. Obviously childhood folklore. But there was something in her eyes, a real fear. Diego suggested, let's test it. If nothing happens, we'll at least have a funny story to share. They found an old mirror in the attic, lit the candle and chose Lucas, the biggest skeptic, to perform the summoning. 3 claps. The whispered name. And then, silence. At first nothing happened. They laughed at their own nerves, put everything away and went to sleep, unaware that something had listened. The first night passed quietly. Lucas woke up refreshed, almost forgetting the previous evening's prank. Almost. It was only when he took a shower that he noticed, on the fogged-up bathroom mirror, someone had written a single word with their finger. I listened. Lucas wiped it off quickly, assuming Sophie or Diego had pulled a prank. But when he came downstairs for breakfast, both were still asleep. Maria was in the kitchen making tortillas. She stopped when she saw him. You did it, didn't you? She asked without looking up. Did what? The summoning. I smelled it. Lucas chuckled nervously. Smelled what? Burned copal. That smell always lingers whenever someone wakes what should remain sleeping. That afternoon, while studying Spanish at the local library, Sophie showed Lucas her notebook. Among her grammar notes were phrases she swore she hadn't written. He is awake now. 3 voices called. An answer will come. They were in her handwriting, but she insisted she'd never written them. Diego joked maybe she'd done it absent-mindedly during a boring lecture. Then Lucas opened his own notebook. Page after page of Nahuatl script, strange symbols in the margins, and at the end repeated dozens of times. Tzekel-Na listens. Tzekel-Na answers. Tzekel-Na comes. Lucas didn't know a word of Nahuatl. That night they decided to record everything. Diego set up his phone and they reenacted the ritual exactly. 3 claps, the whispered name, the lit candle. This time, something answered immediately. The candle flame flickered violently despite no breeze. The mirror, spotlessly clean, became fogged from the inside. Then they heard it. 3 knocks on the wall. Paused. Deliberate. As if responding to their claps. Sophie screamed. Diego dropped the phone. Lucas stood frozen, staring at letters forming in the steam. Thank you for calling me back. They bolted from the room and didn't return until morning. Only then did Diego remember to retrieve the phone. What they found left them speechless. On the recording, beneath their three voices, there was a fourth voice, childlike, whispering in Nahuatl alongside Lucas. And after they fled, that voice continued alone for another 3 minutes. Maria translated the message. I have found you. Now you belong to me, as the other children belonged. Diego dug through the local newspaper archives. 4 children ages 8 to 12 vanished the same week in October 1984. No apparent connection, except that each had been seen playing in front of mirrors in the days before their disappearance. Their names: Carmen Rosales, age 8, Miguel Santos, age 10, Ana Fuentes, age 9, and Roberto Mendoza, age 12. Roberto was Maria's older brother. When they confronted Maria, she finally revealed the truth. Roberto taught me the game, she said through tears. He and his friends did it every night. They said they could speak to ancient spirits, learn secrets of the past. But the last time, something went wrong. Roberto came home different. He barely spoke to me, only whispered in Nahuatl and scrawled symbols on the walls. The next morning, all they found in his room was that cassette tape. It held the voices of the 4 children, though they themselves were gone. She led them to the attic and showed them the original tape, labeled in fading ink, Final Summoning, October 1984. When they played it, they first heard the children's laughter, then the ritual, claps, whispered names, then silence. Followed by deep, ancient whispers in Nahuatl, no longer those of children but something older, more primal. Sophie, a linguistic student, translated fragments. The offerings have been accepted. 4 souls to guard the secrets. The guardian awakens when called. More will come. That very night the activity escalated. At 3:33 a.m. Sophie awoke to 3 knocks on her door. Knock, 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 pause, knock, knock, knock. She opened it to an empty hallway, except for damp footprints leading to the foyer mirror. In its reflection stood a child, watching her. When she turned, nothing was there. Diego began having nightmares. He saw a subterranean room filled with mirrors, each one holding the face of one of the missing children, whispering, "Your turn." Lucas's encounter was worst of all. Alone in the house, he heard children playing in the attic. He climbed up and found 1980s toys scattered across the floor. In the center were 4 mirrors arranged in a circle, and in each mirror, one of the missing children stared at him. "You called us back," Roberto's voice echoed from every reflection. "Now you must finish what you started." "Finish what?" Lucas managed. "Find more friends to play with us. Forever." The mirrors cracked simultaneously. Lucas fled down the stairs, only to see Roberto emerging from a shattered mirror like water. The boy's eyes were pitch black, teeth unnaturally sharp. "You can't escape the one who listens," Roberto whispered, and Lucas heard the words long after he left the house's doorstep. When Sophie and Diego found him the next morning, he stood in shock, staring at the attic windows. Each pane showed 4 children peering down, smiling, waving. "We have to send them back," Lucas whispered. The answer came from an unexpected source. Don Esteban, the retired priest of the local church. Maria had confided in him, and he summoned the 3 friends to his study. At 78, Don Esteban had lived in San Miguel de Allende his entire life and knew stories not recorded in any book. Tzekel-Na is not merely a name, he began. It is a title, the one who listens to secrets. He was once a guardian spirit of the pre-Columbian peoples. But when the Spaniards arrived, some priests, rather than simply converting the natives, used these same rituals against them. They sought to prove the old gods were demons. He opened a crumbling Latin manuscript, the 1642 diary of Father Francisco Mendoza, who once lived in the very house they occupied. "I have bound the guardian with his own rights." Native children were offered as sacrifice, their souls chained to prevent his return. He sleeps still, guarding the secrets I stole. Sophie gasped. The children who vanished in 1984 were added to those chains, Don Esteban confirmed. Each correct summoning awakens Tzekel-Na just enough to demand more souls. How do we stop it? Diego asked. Don Esteban closed the book slowly. There is a way, but it requires a sacrifice. That night they could not sleep. Children's lullabies in Nahuatl drifted through the walls. Sophie was the first to break. I can't take this anymore, she whispered at 2 a.m. as she crept to the attic, where she had rebuilt the ritual circle around 5 mirrors. Sophie, don't, Lucas called. If I offer myself, maybe he'll free the others, she said, lighting the candle. Before she could clap, the mirrors glowed of their own accord, and Tzekel-Na appeared. Not as the corrupted child spirits, but as something tall, ethereal, eyes filled with stars. You don't understand, his voice rang from all directions. I never wanted these souls. I was made their warden, not their jailer. I too am a prisoner. The children flickered into view in the mirrors, unsuffering, pleading. Roberto stepped forward. Help us, we want to go home. We want to rest. How? Lucas asked. The ritual was corrupted, Tzekel-Na explained. The priest inverted the words. Instead of inviting me to share knowledge, you summon me to claim more prisoners. But if you perform the true ritual, with the original invocation, I can return to my realm, and guide these souls where they belong. Don Esteban appeared at the attic stairs, holding another tome, a pre-Spanish text preserving the genuine rite. Heed this, the priest said, but know it demands one to remain behind to guard the passage and ensure it closes. The choice was clear. Sophie had her life and dreams in France. Diego had family in Mexico. But Lucas had always felt adrift, seeking purpose. I will stay, he said calmly. Lucas, no. Sophie cried. Listen, he told them, taking their hands. I've spent my life chasing something greater. Maybe I've found it. At dawn they prepared. Sophie and Diego recorded goodbye messages for their families. Lucas wrote his parents a letter explaining he had discovered something profound in Mexico, and that he'd chosen to remain. Maria scattered marigold petals, the flowers of the dead, around the mirrors as Don Esteban burned copal. With the first sunbeam filtering through the attic window they began. Not 3 claps, but 7, in a rhythm like a heartbeat, and the full Nahuatl invocation read by Sophie from the ancient text. The mirrors blazed with golden light. One by one the children emerged in human form, alive again. Roberto ran to Maria, the others to Don Esteban's outstretched arms. Thank you for freeing us, Roberto said to Lucas. Where will you go? Lucas asked. Home, Carmen replied with a gentle smile. Where we should have been long ago. They dissolved into streams of light drifting skyward through open attic windows. Tzekel-Na appeared once more, this time majestic, wise rather than ominous. Are you certain, young Lucas? I am, Lucas replied. Then receive this freely, the knowledge of all ages, the wisdom of ancient peoples, and the responsibility to guard it. He touched Lucas's brow, and the world exploded in visions. Lost histories of the Americas, healing rites, forgotten ways of living in harmony with the earth. When the light faded, Lucas remained, transformed. His eyes held galaxies, his voice carried echoes of ancestral truths. I am not gone, he told Sophie and Diego. I am expanded. You will find me in dreams, in the space between sleep and wake. And when others call without understanding, seek me. They embraced, and Lucas gradually became translucent, the passage sealing behind him. Take care, he whispered. And remember, not all mysteries should be solved. Some must be respected. 6 months later, Sophie received a direct message on Instagram, a video of a Brazilian teenager attempting the Mexican Mirror Challenge. 3 claps, whispered name. In the reflection stood Lucas, nodding softly as if to say, "I'm watching." The video was deleted the next day. The boy posted another story describing a vivid dream, warning why some games aren't safe. Sophie smiled. Lucas had found his purpose. And somewhere in that colonial house in San Miguel de Allende, Don Esteban lit a candle for the souls finally at peace. Maria, now grown, gazed at a framed photo of Roberto on her desk and whispered, "Thank you for finally coming home, brother." The mirrors reflected only what they should reflect. But sometimes, just sometimes, sensitive visitors claimed they saw a young man with starlit eyes wave before vanishing. Lucas had become legend. A gentle legend that protects rather than haunts. And on the quietest nights, those who know how to listen can hear his voice in the wind. Not all mysteries should be solved. Some must be respected. If you want to see more stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.